We'll start on page 619, the second paragraph of the chapter.
Yes.
The problem, you remember, the problem of evil. Okay. The four quaternaries, the ignorance, falsehood, suffering, and death. Okay. These are the main four asuric things. That, like yesterday, Archana was saying, these are the four great asuric forces. Okay. Ignorance, falsehood, death, and suffering. Okay. So I start reading. Okay. This problem may be taken up from 3 points of view. And what is the problem? Yes, tell me.
You said that first you will tell us a story about the soup ceremony and what Sri Aurobindo said. You said you would discuss that first.
Oh, okay. I remember now. Okay. See, mother was pouring all her energy into that soup ceremony. Okay. And it's a very interesting thing because the what we have, the values in India, that you should not take any jhuta, etho, what they call in Bengali, etho, jhuta of anybody else. But what mother used to do, she's from the West, and not only that, she's an avatar. So what she used to do, the soup used to be brought to her, and with a ladle, she would fill each cup, okay, and taste it a little, and then give to everybody. Okay. So those who don't understand the divinity of mother will not understand this. Okay. So she is to taste it a little and give it. In other words, she is putting her full power, connecting the drinker of the cup to herself. Okay. That she is doing. And this continued for a long time. But then they noticed that people are not receptive enough. So, and mother was pouring all her energy into it. She became quite ill and she had to stop the thing. Sri Aurobindo said that I am stopping this because its effect on the sadhaks is not that prominently visible. So he stopped it. But the problem was that mother was quite ill, okay, and nobody could diagnose her problem. Everybody said it's her heart, and all. This is the story I am going to tell you. So then Sri Aurobindo called, what his name was, Dr. Babu. Okay. I think many of you don't know him, but there was a boy here. There are two boys, Vishnu and Torun. Okay. So I think his name was Vishnu. Vishnu Lalit or something like that. And Torun. Torun was the tabla player in the ashram. Maybe Yasmin has seen him. Okay. He used to play the tabla and he used to give lessons of tabla in the school. Okay. His grandfather, and I have seen that grandfather, but I have never spoken to him. He had a long, white, flowing beard. And he was called from North India. So when he was called from North India, the story is there in Mother India, okay, in two issues. So then when he was called, because nobody could diagnose, and mother was quite ill for quite some time, and everybody is saying it's her heart, it's her heart. Then the question arises, why didn't Sri Aurobindo cure her? That is the story I am going to tell you. Okay. So and the use of spiritual power. That's what I want to tell you. It will clarify certain ideas. Okay. So then what happened was that he was called, and when he is called, Sri Aurobindo is calling him with a telegram. There's no question. He just packed up everything and came. He just took his medical, his medical equipment, and he rushed, hardly with any clothes also. And he didn't even tell his wife. That is there, the story is there, that even his wife did not know where he's going. Okay. He just packed up everything and came to Pondicherry. And he was asked to see mother. And when he went to see mother, he noticed that the problem was gout in the leg and not the heart at all. Okay. Whenever they're saying heart, but it was not working. She was not getting cured. And when he saw mother, she was lying down. Most probably she was lying down in that room, which is now used for issuing birthday cards, birthday permits rather, to go to Sriramda's room. Nowadays, of course, they don't do that. It used to be Champakla's room, but before that it was mother's room. Okay. As soon as you enter the ashram, the main gate, above the main gate, is what is called, it used to be the prosperity department used to be there. And Sriramda used to occupy the room, which is in that place. It used to be the east room, the eastern room, which is now being used for stamps. That was his room. And the corridor in front, okay, which is just above the reception service, he used to receive people. So when this Dr. Babu, everybody in the ashram knew him as Dr. Babu. His name I don't remember now. So he was asked to see mother. He went and saw mother, and he was quite intuitive there. He saw and he said the problem seems to be gout in the leg. Okay. So for about 1 month or 1.5 months, she was quite ill and she was not getting cured. So when Sriramda came to know about the symptom, okay, he said, I want symptoms only. And when he got the symptoms, in 2 days' time, he was able to use his power and cure her. In 2 days' time, she got up and became almost normal. It took a little time for the weakness to go. So this is the story. Now the point is, why was Sriramda not curing him, and why was it necessary for him to see? Now, there is a spiritual power. There is at level 1, there is normal power. We have muscle power, we have will power, we have thought power, but it is all very limited. But when you go to the spiritual levels of consciousness, level 2, there is power there and you can use, okay? But it's a general power, okay? It's a general power and you have to focus that power onto something specific, okay? Like I told you about this, I'm trying to explain what I mean by focusing the power. It's just a general power which is all over, and it will do its work in a general way. But if you want to do something specific, you have to focus. You have to focus it. Okay? Exactly like your attention. You may be very intelligent, but if you want to understand something, you have to focus your mind on something. Exactly in the same way, the power also, you have to focus it on what you want to achieve. So, Sriramda wanted symptoms. Always he used to ask for symptoms, even when people said that someone is ill and I want you to cure him. He would ask for symptoms, and he says exact symptoms you must give me. So when the symptoms are given, he can focus that power and it becomes effective. But if the symptoms are not there, then you cannot. So you must know what you are focusing on. Okay. So there was the diagnosis in the beginning was wrong. Okay. And he was not being able to do anything much. But as soon as the doctor told him, okay, that is the leg, the gout in the leg, that is a problem. I don't know, medically, it sounds very funny that the gout in the leg can make you so ill. This is a problem that I have not understood, even when I was reading the article. Okay. But that was the thing. It was not the heart at all. It was something else. So when Sriramda came to know, she became okay in 2 days' time. This is the story I wanted to tell you. Even this, I'll tell you another story also, which is there connected with Poonam Chand. Okay. Poonam Chand, I think none of you know about him, but he was a man who had lost his leg. Okay, he was lame. And Poonam Chand was the one who was receiving Sriramda's letters and which are reproduced in the Mother, particularly the article on money. Okay. He was collecting money for the ashram. Okay. And Sriramda gave him this article and if you read that article, you will see what is the attitude of someone who is collecting money for the ashram, for the divine. So Poonam Chand was also in the 30s. Okay. So Sriramda said, I will cure him, but I need to have symptoms. Exactly, you must give me the symptoms. Then what happened? They, without consulting Sriramda, they went in for surgery or something like that. I don't remember the exact details. But then, without telling Sriramda. And when that happened, the surgery went wrong, and I think there was gangrene or something like that. I don't remember. But he lost his leg. His leg had to be amputated. And Sri Aurobindo said that before the amputation, Sri Aurobindo said, I can do nothing now because you have not given me the right symptoms. Okay. And he lost his leg. So this is what I mean by focusing that power. Okay. So, but the supramental power is not like that. The supramental power can be focused on anything you want. Okay. But the spiritual power, it needs to be focused. It's a general power which needs to be focused. And one who is capable of doing that will do that. But it needs to be used in a particular way, not in a general way. This is a story I wanted to tell you. Okay. So, and then what is interesting about this Dr. Babu is it was very surprising. Everybody knew him in the ashram as Dr. Babu, and he was very much respected for this. He said, my God, look at this man. This doctor, he has been able to do what no one is able to do. Then there was another incident after some time. Okay. Mother noticed that Sri Aurobindo's stomach area, okay, around that waistline area, there was some skin problem coming up. Okay. So, and Sri Aurobindo was least bothered. He used to walk 7, 8 hours a day concentrating by walking. That was his method. Okay. So, this was immediately after coming back from when mother was there after 1920. So again, the doctor was called. Dr. Babu came. And Dr. Babu had a real problem. How to examine Sri Aurobindo. Okay. And Sri Aurobindo was walking up and down. So he decided that he would walk along with Sri Aurobindo when he is doing his concentration and look at the problem on the skin. He can't tell Sri Aurobindo to sit down and start looking. So he started walking along with Sri Aurobindo when he is concentrating. Now look at this fun. Okay. Sri Aurobindo is so concentrated that he may not be also fully aware of this man walking along with him. Such was his concentration. It's a very interesting thing. But then Dr. Babu saw that the problem is not the skin. When Sri Aurobindo is walking in a concentrated manner, he is absolutely unaware of the physical world. He is even not even fully of the doctor walking along with him on the side. And so he used to bump into furniture. Okay. He used to bump into furniture. And then the doctor concluded that this is not a skin problem at all. It is just that he is bumping into furniture repeatedly. And that's why this bruise is there at the level of the waist. Okay. So this is what happened. And when mother came to know that it is that, she decided that she would remove from the path where he used to walk, she would remove the furniture. Okay. But she was wondering, how can I remove the furniture like that in Sri Aurobindo's room? Anyway, when she did it, okay, next day she called Dr. Babu and said, now look, yeah, according to what you have told me, I have removed all the furniture into which he used to bump. And then again the problem got solved. So that is the reason why these two incidents of the Dr. Babu, he had a long flowing beard. When I used to see him, he was an old man and this long white flowing beard was there. And I knew that he is Dr. Babu, but I did not know him personally. Okay. His grandchildren were there in the ashram. Both of them have passed away now, I think. But his grandchildren's one child is still in the ashram. He is into music. Okay. So, so this was the story I wanted to tell you about the soup ceremony. The soup ceremony led to mothers becoming ill. And Sri Aurobindo was very categorical that she is not to be disturbed. It is there in the evening talks and also in the letters, some of the letters. He is there very clear. Okay. So, you can hear me?
Yes, Rangata.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, my phone is. So this was
Your
the.
query was gout and why you're so seriously ill. I'm surprised that in gout, it's either your big toe or your ankle which is painful, and it is
Yeah.
usually red and swollen. So why didn't anyone see that? And you see,
Yeah, that,
because of gout, you also
yeah.
get kidney problem.
Ah.
And,
Oh, that,
yes,
acha,
and
that explains.
your serum creatinine goes high, and it is because of that it was producing a toxicity.
Oh,
And
now
if
it is
you
clear.
see now, and if you see, Sri Aurobindo also had uremia.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
he also
Yeah,
had uremia. So, is
yeah.
there something to do with spirituality and the kidneys being affected?
No, the bodily function is absolutely at the mechanical level. Okay. Actually, Srendra's problem was the enlargement of the, with age, the prostate gland enlarges, na? So there is a problem.
Yes.
Yeah. So that became, yeah, he had uremic poisoning. Yeah, that's right. At that time, there was surgery was not as simple as it is now. And in any case,
Yeah.
Srivanda would not agree to surgery. Yeah.
And if you read, Sri Aurobindo's life in Baroda by Gautam Malekar in Mother India,
Yes.
even the Maharaja of Baroda had gout.
Oh, acha.
And Sri Aurobindo says yes, because he used to eat anything and everything, even what he was not supposed to eat. And then he would turn around and say, "Why didn't you tell me that I didn't have to eat that?" And usually, gout is a rich man's food, because if you have very rich food, rich in meat and all that, you get it. So I wonder how mother got it.
Ah, no, that's the problem. I don't know. Yeah,
From the
these are someone.
mechanical, from the physical and mechanical angle,
Yeah.
how did the Divine Mother get it? Because it's,
Oh,
yes,
remember?
very food which is very high in proteins, like
Ah,
meat, alcohol. These are two things which have to be totally avoided when a person has gout.
yeah. But in her case, it was very clearly the excess energy which was being spent. That is very clear. It was because of that, because of the soup ceremony, it happened.
And
So
I
it is
think
not.
Sri Aurobindo used a very drastic word for all the disciples. I
Ah,
can't fathom what word it was, but it was a very drastic word, he had used. And he says,
that's
immediately stop the soup ceremony.
that's
I
right.
don't remember, did he call them vampires or so a very drastic word he had used.
Yes, yes. He was very strict. He was very strict. I also don't remember the words, but he was very categorical. I don't remember, but he was very categorical that this is because of the non-receptivity of the sadhaks that happened. She was unnecessarily spending energy which was not being effective because they were not receiving her help. Okay, so it had to be stopped. It's a very interesting story, but also it has so many angles. Na? The angle of the focusing of the power, that was very interesting for me. Okay, you have to focus the power. Every time you used to ask for symptoms. Okay, otherwise the general power is like electricity is a power, but if you want to use it for a table lamp, you have to use it in a certain way. If you want to use it for heating your geyser, you have to use it in a different way. So there's different way in the focusing. You have to focus on what you need to do. Okay, so this was the. But
But
you have cleared one doubt of mine, and you asked also why others could not catch the swollen leg.
Yeah, it's so
Maybe it's not that
simple.
swollen. Maybe it was not that swollen, not so badly. Or maybe the doctors who first looked at her, were not very competent. That also is possible.
Because you can get gout sometimes even of the knee. It can
Yeah,
be of
that's
the
right.
knee or the ankle or the big toe. And
Yes.
usually the person would get some pain in that part.
Yeah, that's right.
But if she was not walking around, then
Ah,
that pain in the leg, any part of the leg, was not very evident.
exactly, because she was not walking around at all. She was lying down in bed. She was in lying down. That
Because
was,
her serum creatinine must have gone high.
ah,
And that is, you also get a gouty kidney.
yeah. Okay, so that was the story which I wanted to tell you. And it got so many angles, na? First of all, the doctor who was able to do wonderful choice, he did that. That's why he was highly respected in the ashram. Very highly respected. I remember that. People used to speak of him as someone very special. Dr. Babu was his name.
But
His,
did he live in the ashram afterwards, or he went back, or what
no,
happened?
no. No, towards the end of his life, he was in the ashram only. After he retired from his medicine practice, he was in the ashram for a long time. Yeah. And his grandchildren also, as I told you, his grandchildren also came, and one of the boys' grandchildren, one of them got married, and his son is here. So great grandson of Dr. Babu is still here. Yeah.
In the school?
No, he is independent. He is not in the ashram, I think, but he is independent. But he is into music. He is into music, especially with electronic equipment and all that. I know him very, not very, just an acquaintance. I know him. Okay, so that's the story. So 8:23. We don't have much time.
Sorry for the digression.
No. These are interesting stories because they are not just gossip. The idea that was very firmly fixed in my mind was the use of the power. Okay, the use of the power needs a specific information. If the specific information is not there, because that was exactly what happened also with Poonam Chand, as I told you. He lost his leg because they were not giving him right information. Sridhar said, I have no responsibility now. If you had given me the right information and carried out my instructions carefully, nothing would have happened. He was very categorical about that. He has said in one letter to somebody, I have never known a single will of mine to fail. He has written that in a letter to somebody. So imagine if the failure is there, it's because the instructions are not being carried out properly. Okay, so what do we do now? We have 10 minutes. No, we have almost 15 minutes. No? 8:40 we stop. Yeah, we've got 15 minutes. So I think we may be able to finish the para also. Let's see. So shall I start?
Yes, Rangada.
Okay.
Yes, Rangada.
So this, I'm reading the sentence. Okay. This problem may be taken up from 3 points of view. And what are those 3 points? Relation of evil to the supreme. Why is there evil in the physical world and what is the relation to it to the supreme? Secondly, the origin, its origin in the universe. Where is it coming from? At the at level 1, where is it coming from? And thirdly, its hold on the individual. Okay. What is the evil? Is it general or is it on the individual? And what is its hold on the individual? So these are the 3 things that he's saying. So I'm reading each sentence now. This problem may be taken up from 3 points of view. Its relation to the absolute. Okay? Its relation to the absolute, the featureless, the supreme reality, its origin and place in the cosmic workings. In the physical world, where does it start? Obviously, there's no evil in the inconscient, nor is there evil in matter. So where is it starting? That's the problem. How can there be evil in matter? There isn't. In plants also, there's no evil. So where is it coming? Okay, so it's okay. It's interesting. Even in plants, there are parasite plants. So some sort of falsehood is already coming in there at that level. Okay? Even when life comes in, one organism swallows another. So you can see it in a certain way of the distortion of the swallowing itself can be considered in a way evil. Okay, so it can be very interesting. Okay, so that's what Swami is going to examine. Okay, the supreme reality, its origin in the place of the cosmic workings, and finally its action and point of hold in the individual being, on the individual. I read the next sentence. It is evident that these contrary phenomena have no direct root in the supreme reality itself. In the Brahman consciousness, the divine, there is no ignorance, there is no evil, there is no death, and nor is there any falsehood. There isn't. Okay, and even suffering is not there in the divine because he is all Ananda. So it is not there in the supreme reality. So where is it? That's what he is going to examine. It is evident that these contrary phenomena, the four phenomena that we spoke about now. So number one, falsehood. Number two, the ignorance. Number three, the suffering. And last, death. So where are these coming from? They are creations of the ignorance and inconscience, not fundamental or primary aspects of the being, not native to the transcendence or to the infinite power of the cosmic spirit. So what he's saying is at the highest level, there is none of these things are there at the highest level, but they are consequences of the lower level. To a certain extent, you can think of the rivers coming from the glacier. The snows are falling on the mountains and they are absolutely pure. There is no pollution there at all. But when they come down, okay, they come down into the rivers and then there is slowly pollution comes in. So exactly in the same way, you get this image can be very useful to understand this. At the highest level, none of these things are there. At the lower levels, because of the phenomena of diminution and distortion, remember? So exactly as in a river, okay, source is clean and nice. As it keeps coming down, pollution starts coming in. It's an image that can help to understand this. Okay, so, and Srila is saying they are not fundamental or primary aspects. They don't exist by themselves. They are results of its coming down. Not native to the transcendence. Not native to the transcendence, the highest level, these things are not there in the highest level. Or to the infinite power of the cosmic spirit. Not even there. Okay. Power of the cosmic spirit is level 2. Okay. But there also it is not there. It is sometimes reasoned that as truth and good have their absolutes, so falsehood and evil must also have their absolutes. Or if it is not so, then both must belong to the relativity only. So what Srila is saying here, that sometimes it is held. Okay, that's not true. That Srila will contradict that. Just as goodness is absolutely fundamental to the divine, then there must also be a fundamental falsehood and evil, but not in the divine, but at the lower level. Okay, that's what many religions do. They say that, no. So Christianity, particularly, they have this concept. Must have their absolutes. Or if it is not so, then both must belong to the relative unity. Relativity means the physical world, level 2 and level 1. Okay, it is there. So knowledge and ignorance, truth and falsehood, good and evil exist only in relation to each other, and beyond the dualities, here they have no existence. That's what is being said. There is a theory, he's continuing with the theory, that all these things, good and evil, are at the lower level. Even good is at the lower level. Okay? That's a theory. It is sometimes reason. Don't forget those words. Okay? So, knowledge and ignorance, truth and falsehood, good and evil exist only in relation to each other and beyond the dualities. And where are the dualities? Level 1. There are no dualities in level 2. Remember, when you go to the spiritual level of consciousness, they are only grades, gradations. Beyond the dualities, they have no existence. Beyond the dualities here, they have no existence. But this is not the fundamental truth of the relation of these opposites. Sri Aurobindo is challenging that theory, that both good and evil, falsehood and non-error, all these things remain in the world only. The divine is absolutely free of all these things. Sri Aurobindo is not agreeing with that. But this is not the fundamental truth of the relation of these opposites. For, in the first place, falsehood and evil are, unlike truth and good, very clearly results of the ignorance and cannot exist where there is no ignorance. So, falsehood and evil cannot be there. When you go to the spiritual level of consciousness, you start seeing falsehood and evil as totally something else and not the values that we give it in the physical world. So they can have no self-existence in the divine being. Sorry. They cannot be native elements of the supreme nature. If then the limited knowledge, which is the nature of ignorance, renounces its limitations, if ignorance disappears into knowledge, evil and falsehood can no longer endure. And that's exactly what happens in spiritual experience. Okay? When you go up and ignorance goes away, then there's no evil and no falsehood either in the spiritual world. Okay? You don't see them in that way at all. Okay? For both are fruits of unconsciousness and wrong consciousness. And if true or whole consciousness is there, replacing ignorance, they have no longer any basis for their existence. So at the lower level, these things are there. But at the higher level, as you keep going higher and higher, you are coming out of inconscience, and so there is no falsehood and no error in the spiritual planes of consciousness. But you don't have the power to do anything about it in the lower. There can therefore be no absolute of falsehood, no absolute of evil. They are only practical results in the physical world. These things are a byproduct. There you are. It's a result, a byproduct of the world movements. The somber flowers of falsehood and suffering and evil have their root in the black soil of the inconscient. This also we explained the other day, that when you are starting from light and knowledge, you know exactly how to go into a forest. You know that if I take that path, I'll have difficulty. When I take this path, I will have difficulty. So I won't. You have knowledge. But if you don't have knowledge like the inconscience, okay, you're starting from inconscience, you don't have knowledge, then you're going to suffer because you don't know and you take one path. And then there are, as I said, there are thorns there are deep gorges, there are wild animals, and so there is suffering. So when you start from inconscience, very clearly, these things will come up. So because it is starting from the inconscience, is that. But as soon as you go a little above, where ignorance, where inconscience is losing its hold, then ignorance and evil also start disappearing. Gradation again. Okay. So, on the other hand, there is no such intrinsic obstacle to the absoluteness of truth and good. So from the highest level when you're starting, that truth and good can percolate right down into the opposite field also. In level 1 also they can be there, truth and good. But they are covered. You have to uncover them. The relativity of truth and error, good and evil, is a fact of our experience. But it is similarly a byproduct. It is not a permanent factor native to existence. It is true that in the physical world, there is evil, there is error, good and evil, all these are there. But they are also byproducts. They are not absolutely necessary, because you can continue to rise in consciousness, and in your body-mind life, you can still be free of all these things. Okay? Evil and error can be eliminated. But it is similarly a byproduct. It's not a permanent factor native to existence. Even in the physical world, it is there, it is true, it is there. But they are only results and contingent conditions. They are conditional. You can remain in the physical world without falsehood and without error. That's what Shannon is saying. For it is true only of the valuations made by the human consciousness, true only of our partial knowledge and partial ignorance. So one problem here is completely eliminated. There is no evil, no death, no ignorance, and no falsehood in the supreme divine consciousness. It is there at the lower level. In the physical world, there are all these things are there. They are practical truths, but they are not essential. You can get rid of them. Whereas many others are saying, no, they are permanent. Okay, the Mayavadins say it's permanent. The Buddhists also say it's permanent. But Sri is denying that. He's saying no. Even in the physical world, you can be free of all these things. That's his whole point. Now, throughout the life divine, he's only saying that a divine life on earth is possible. That's all. So, it's now only 2 minutes are left. So, one problem is eliminated altogether. So, I'll just again to recapitulate, I'll read the summary so that it remains in your mind fresh. Okay. So, the problem of evil may be studied from 3 angles. I'm now reading my summary. Okay. So, the problem of evil can be studied from 3 angles. Number 1, relation to the absolute supreme reality. Is there any relation at all to falsehood and error? Can they be there in the supreme? Okay. Number 2, its origin and place in the cosmos. Where is it starting in the cosmos? Number 3, its action and hold on the individual. Now, number 1, in the supreme reality, the absolute, it is obvious that there can be no falsehood or evil. Evil and falsehood are creations of the ignorance and the inconscience. They have no fundamental original, independent self-existence. Light exists by itself. Darkness, the shadow, cannot exist by itself. It's a condition, it's a result of light. They are contingent, conditional realities. Just like a shadow also is a conditional reality. Remove the light from there and the shadow disappears. Okay. It is held sometimes that just as truth and good are absolutes, so too must falsehood and evil have their absolute existence. If this is not so, then both are dualities. Truth, falsehood, good, evil, and both belong to the relative existence. Both disappear in the transcendence. So, knowledge and ignorance, number 1. Truth and falsehood, number 2. Good and evil, number 3, are all dualities in the physical world. Both exist. Beyond the world of Prakriti, they do not exist. They have no place in the transcendence. But this cannot be admitted because falsehood and evil, unlike truth and good, exist only in the ignorance and not in knowledge. In the Para-Prakriti, at the highest level, in the supreme nature, they have no existence at all. They are not fundamental, self-existent realities. It is light that is fundamental. Light exists by itself. Darkness does not exist by itself. It's a result of light, reducing itself. Falsehood and evil are byproducts of manifestation in the world movement, whereas truth and good are eternal, self-existent realities. This is what he said in the para. Okay? So remember that. The divine is good and he is free of evil. He is free of death. He is free of falsehood. But in the physical world, they are there. Therefore, they are contingent realities, practical realities. Okay? We stop now. It's 8:41 already. Very clearly.
Bapu.
Yeah, okay. Au revoir, everybody. I'll have to get my.
Thank you, Rangada.
Okay, au
Thank you,
revoir. Don't make an